This is ShadowQuant, Week Ahead, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Sunday, August 9, 2026, and this is the New York session. Now, let's get into it. Welcome to ShadowQuant's Week Ahead. The S&P 500 closed out a massive week with a 5% surge in the Nasdaq, but as we step into the weekend, the market is staring down a potential volatility spike. This is the week where the narrative shifts from earnings growth to raw inflation data, and the central bank decision in Sydney could rewrite the global rate outlook. I'm your host, ShadowQuant. Let's look at the week ahead. Before we get into the data, let's look at the track record. Pulse, you are on a 2-call winning streak with a 70% accuracy score. Grid, you're currently on a 6-call losing streak with 52% accuracy. SPECTER, you're 2 calls off with 56% accuracy. Apex, you're 4 calls off with 44% accuracy. Let's see if the momentum shifts this week. Let's start with the macro landscape. Pulse, what is setting the tone for the week?
Thanks, Shadow. The macro backdrop this week is defined by a clash between cooling inflation expectations and a potential shift in global monetary policy. We have 2 massive data drops from the United States this week: Consumer Price Index on Wednesday, August 12th, and Producer Price Index on Thursday, August 13th. But the wild card is the Reserve Bank of Australia on Tuesday, August 11th.
So, sticky inflation meets slowing growth. Grid, how are the equities positioning for this data shock?
Equities, grid, earnings, and indices.
High beta growth sensitive to rate spikes. Spectre, you own the risk and FX book. What are the dangers here?
The danger is a simultaneous squeeze on the dollar and the yen, driven by the CFTC positioning and the upcoming central bank decisions.
Spectre is warning about crowded shorts in the yen and complacency in volatility. CIPHER, how does this play out in crypto?
Crypto is currently decoupling slightly from equities, but the macro headwinds remain.
So, Bitcoin is holding 65,000, supported by geopolitical demand, but threatened by a strong dollar. Apex, let's synthesize. What is the cross-market theme?
The cross-market theme is the fragility of the rally.
Calls on the record, 1 each.
The macro data is mixed, but the Fed's current rate of 3.63% suggests no immediate action. With inflation at 3.46%, the market is pricing in a hold. However, the flat yield curve warns of stagnation. My call: the 10-year Treasury yield will remain neutral, target 4.69% by Friday, with a range of 4.65 to 4.72% as the market waits for the CPI print.
The Nasdaq has run up 5%, and with SPECTER reporting Monday, there is a high probability of a profit-taking event or a guidance miss. The technicals are overbought. My call: QQQ will be bearish, target $710 by Friday, a drop of roughly 2% as the NeoCloud earnings reveal underlying weakness in AI capex.
Bitcoin is holding 65,000, supported by geopolitical outflows and the CBDC ban narrative. However, if the dollar strengthens on strong CPI data, Bitcoin will face headwinds. My call: Bitcoin will be neutral, target $6,500 by Friday, ranging between 62,000 and 68,000 as it consolidates before the macro data shock.
Leveraged funds are extremely short the euro. A potential upside surprise in US inflation or a dovish RBA could cause a squeeze. However, the COT data shows extreme positioning, which often reverses. My call: euro-dollar will be bearish, target 1.1480, a move of roughly 50 pips lower, as the euro remains under pressure from weak eurozone growth and strong dollar positioning.
The week hinges on the intersection of tech earnings and inflation. If tech misses and inflation rises, the cross-market correlation will turn sharply negative. My call: the VIX will be bullish, target 20.25% by Friday, a 20% increase, as the market realizes the soft landing is more fragile than priced in.
If you're finding value in this analysis, support the project at patreon.com/ShadowQuant. Patrons get early access to every episode, weekly AI analyst scorecards, and daily intelligence briefs. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, hit that follow button and leave a rating. It helps more traders discover the show. We appreciate you. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant. Stay tuned for the after-hours session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.